the good people on the internet, we have this thing very lovely, Shivnesh, artist name is Cymbol, correct? If I'm pronouncing it correct, sorry.
Yep.
That's correct, thank you. He's an artist, a musician, producer, a DJ, and he does a lot more things on than all that. So thank you so much, Shivnesh, for joining in. It's such a pleasure having you on the show.
Of course, thank you. Thanks for having me. And you can call me Shiv. It's easy.
I can call you Shiv. Yeah, thank you. That's a lot of energy taking, buddy. So right now, are you in India or are you in New Zealand, I think?
I am in India right now. I'm in Mumbai.
Oh, you're in Mumbai? How is the Avatar rains treating you?
It's I can't say I love the rain, but because I'm from New Zealand, we get rain all the time there. But yeah, no, it's got its charm. Got its charm, except for when you have to travel A to B, you know. But otherwise, yeah, it's nice. Good.
It's nice.
Work continue.
The rain is actually hitting us here as well. So after a long time, because we face really high temperatures all the time. I live in Kolkata, so 42, 43 degrees Celsius, summer heat is venting very much. So, but in terms of questions, if I would ask you, I ask this to all artists. How did you start, or how did you even think about becoming a DJ? Because I'll be very frank with you, I don't have a clue about how the DJ industry works. I say what I don't know as I don't know. To be very honest.
Yeah.
So people's perspective is you just pick up a mixer and you become a DJ and get shows and become rich and 5 million followers. That's not the case. So if you would guide us.
That would be nice, but I think if it was that easy, then everyone would be a DJ. But no, it is as simple as picking up a mixer, learning how to mix a song. You start with, fading in and out, and then setting beat matching, BPM, double dropping. It gets more and more complex. But I guess the most important thing is you're playing to the crowd, so what, your judgment and the experience. Most importantly, you got to love the music that you play. And if you love that, then the crowd just connects to it. I actually didn't start with a focus of DJing. I started with a focus of beat making. And DJing came sort of later because back in high school when I was like 16, I've always been into music. My father's a guitarist, my sister's a singer. I remember my older sister used to tour her bus in Fiji. And my dad was a band, and I can just remember I was 6 years old. We were just in studio environment. So I was always fascinated at what the sound engineer was doing. So, the guy behind the computer making it all work and making, recording, putting it together. And I think from that, and then when I was in high school, I was, always on the keyboard, playing beats, playing music. And then, people like Timbaland, Dr. Dre kind of, started taking light back then with Justin Timberlake, all these mixed music and hybrids, Linkin Park and everything. And I was just like, damn, that's so awesome. And then I started beat making. I saved up for a keyboard, Roland X6, and I started making beats on that. After high school, I went into uni and wanted to sort of DJ as well, but I guess the focus was still, it was more like once I get the music sort of going, then I'll be able to play this out live. And anyway, long story short, I had bought a small turntable and I started DJing for friends and picked that up pretty easy. And yeah, I think it just sort of grew from there. My love for DJing out live, producing music. I discovered Logic in university, and then just started making tunes, entered a remix competition. Like my friends are just like, you're an awesome producer and you can like really make beats. And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, you should enter this 2013 remix competition. It's called George FM. It's a dance radio station. It's a really popular dance radio station in New Zealand. And they were holding a remix competition. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I don't think I'll win it, but I'll give it a shot. So I gave it a shot and I ended up taking out first place. And that was really the start of my career because the the guy that was running it in the background was looking for like a DJ producer like me. His name is Callum. Thank you, I guess. Basically, he guided me throughout the first half of my career, getting me into radio, sort of developing me as an artist. I started making original music, collaborating with people, got signed to Universal in Australia, New Zealand. Had a hit song called Best Friends that was going all over New Zealand radio station, and a bit of Australia too. So yeah, all of that happened, and I guess yeah, I mean you never know you can always enter remix competitions, all that, but it's not about winning. It's about the enjoyment of making the music, really, and putting it out.
Wow.
So that's kind of the start. I went into a tangent, but got there in the end. And
what sort of challenges you kind of got at starting, basically,
challenges
as a DJ?
Challenges. Okay, as a DJ, yeah. So like for me, DJing wasn't my primary focus. Still, it wasn't my primary focus. When I just wanted to sit in the studio, make songs, and put it out. Like that was my moment, you know.
Right.
When I could just make songs and vibe with the people that are in the studio, and then put it out. And then next thing you know, sort of you get told like you should start DJing. It's good, you know. You get told that like once you've got your music out, you got to play it live somewhere. Because that's also a part of the industry. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll give it a shot. Why not? I was doing that a bit in uni, playing for friends and parties. I wasn't taking it seriously, but then I started taking it seriously when music started popping for my career. And I started playing sort of clubs, and then started getting little festivals, and then big festivals. So I'd prepare for that. And by preparing, I'd be doing gigs in New Zealand. I flew over to Australia for a gig. And I don't know, I just started to build that confidence while playing, you know, the smaller crowd like your friends, and you start building up to people that you don't know, and then it started really working. And then when you start, of course, like in the beginning at a festival, I was playing, you know, when you start as a DJ or you're opening DJ, so when you start as a DJ or if you're just coming in the limelight, you get put in sort of opening slot. And opening slots are probably the most difficult, I have to say, because you have to warm up a crowd when there's no crowd. So that's the most challenging part of being a DJ. Yeah.
Correct.
And I tell you what, like one of the festivals that I did, I had a couple of vocalists with me that were on my records, and there was probably about 4 or 5 people that would just be dancing, and it was just like no one else was there, and it's like a full festival type of thing. But you know, I appreciate it because the following year, while my music was still, you know, starting to work on radio and everything, I got put in the same festival, but maybe 3rd or 4th slot, and I kid you not, like it was fully packed. It was probably 3/4 packed, and you could see the people just coming in, and it felt really good when people were just coming in, and it felt like they were coming for you and your music, which is ideally the best. I mean, it is the best feeling ever. And you're putting, and you've got like songs going after the other and the other, and you're like hands are flying high. Everyone else's hands are flying high, and that kind of like made it all worth it because you didn't stop when there was like 5 people dancing to your tune, you know, the year before type thing. So I guess you've got to sort of take it on the chin when there's no one around on your sets, because it's all part of the process. It's all part of the game. It's not you. It's not that you suck. It's just the career and the phase of career you're in, and it's all about, you know, persistence, and you've got to keep going, and then eventually you'll get there. Of course, even when you do get there, you'll still have shit gigs. But I guess, yeah, I mean, it's obviously not going to be as fun as playing to 1,000, 10,000 people. But if you can vibe with even like 10 people, 5 people, then you've got,
something.
Like, yeah, you got something. Yeah.
That's a good takeaway. So all these things were happening when you were in New Zealand and you were just flying off for gigs to other countries and cities.
Yeah, so mainly I was in Auckland, and I was doing gigs in Auckland, sort of smaller club gigs and all of that. But then I started, and then I signed up to an agency when things were starting to get a bit serious, and started getting gigs outside of Auckland, sort of Whangarei, just upper north, and then in the North Island, like Palmerston North, Wellington, South Island, Christchurch. So all these places, little clubs, bars, and also festivals, uni, what do you call it? Uni opening sort of festivals, all of that. So they were all happening.
So how were your college days then? And what did you study in the university?
So
Did I put you in trouble?
Nah, you didn't. I'm okay to talk about it now. I'm like 33. I'm pretty old enough to so obviously, like being a music head in high school, primary school, you'll get the whole your parents sort of kind of get that idea in your head that
Shut
something with computer science or engineering or something like that, right? But of course, you're not that kid that wants to do all that stuff. So anyway, I gave uni a shot. I got into uni, Auckland University, and I proved to my parents they can make it to uni. That was the first thing, and then a uni came in, and you sort of I found that I did a Bachelor of Arts, so I could try and do a whole bunch of different things. I wanted to get into media studies and music and everything else. Now, my fallback option was always going to be, I wanted to be a sound designer, so sound mix TV shows and film and sound design, because that also fascinated me. I was like, look, if music's not going to, because you get embedded in your head like only like 1% of people sort of make it in music and all of that. They're like, okay, cool. I love being in front of speakers. So what's the next best thing I can do if I had to fall back on something? And that was sound designing. So quickly I found and realized that media studies wasn't it in Auckland University. It was just theory on theory. And I was just like, dude, I'm failing this. All I'd pass is like music papers where you're making music, producing, all of that. So that was all happening, and then I kind of went into what do you call it? Sorry, I went on a tangent. Bachelor of Arts, and then actually for 2 years I just felt like nothing was happening. I was just passing music papers, and one of the guys in my music class was like, "Dude, you should go to SAE or Maine." So SAE is like a world-renowned school of audio engineering. Uni or something, so institute. So I went in and literally passed with flying colors. It was just like the best thing ever. I was like, this is great. I've got my diploma now. I can go and try and hunt for a job. And luckily enough, and persistence is key this way as well, because I called up someone, a post-production sound firm, and called them up when they had a job for an intern. So he didn't answer, or he answered, but I followed up again like a few days later, and he said, okay, cool, come in, I'll test you out and all of that. I was like, cool, sweet. Tested me out. I sucked, but I think he really liked the fact that I'm willing to push. So, and I remember starting off, and I was in that industry for about 10 years while I was doing music on the side. So while I was, because that was my full-time job, that was like my bread and butter. The side gigs was music, Even when I was signed to Universal and all of that, it was still like, okay, cool, this is not enough to like make a living. Not yet anyway. So I was managing that full-time job and then also part-time music. And I kind of started to tell work, look, okay, can I just work 3 or 4 days a week and just do music? I can stay in the studio if work comes in, all that stuff. And they're like, yes, sweet, that was cool. They were cool. so yeah, basically I did that, and I was just learning for, I think I was in the industry for about 10 years. But I tell you what, I kept pushing, and I think for a year or two I was really slow. But my mentor, Nigel, who was teaching me post production, he's also into music too. But he was like, it takes well, like speed. Don't worry about speed right now. Speed will come. And funnily enough, I think I was faster than him probably 5 years later. So now, hopefully he doesn't listen to this, but yeah.
Well, he's coming. He's coming. Wait.
Yeah, he's coming. But no, I mean, I'm sure like he's got years of experience, and he'll still be the GOAT. But yeah, and then I got coached to work for a bigger sound firm, which was called the Department of Post, and they're working on like big Netflix shows and all of this. And I was like, and even the like Amazon Prime rings and all of that. And I was like, okay, cool, this is a pretty big jump. Let's just go for it. And so yeah, and I found myself like holding a bit of the weight in that firm. I was making good content, gelling with clients, and it all became. And this was like 6-7 years later. So you have to things take time, right? But then now I look back and I'm like, if I spent that same time making music, I might have been 10 times faster at producing right now. I probably would know a lot more about the music business. So I guess it's got its advantages and disadvantages. But in hindsight, it's kind of like now I can take that sound design and put it into my music, and yeah, it's just. I mean, I don't
balances everything out.
Yeah, I don't regret anything, but yeah, I mean, I do feel like practice makes perfect, and you're only just going to get faster at doing something that you keep doing every day. And currently, I'm doing music every day, and I've been doing it, and I'm a lot faster than I can. And I've been getting trained under this Bollywood super producer, Abhijit Bagani. He sort of opened his studio to me last year in Mumbai. He said these words were chucked in the studio of your home. It's always open for you.
Wow. And this is the kind of support musicians kind of expect when they are kind of in the journey, you know?
Dude, yeah, I think. Well, Abhi's like 1 in a million, but that's the type of support I needed, because I felt like after sort of COVID, everything started with the industry for me was starting to take down very quickly, and I felt like, is this it? Like, am I gonna just stop music and just maybe be a sound designer for the rest of my life? And I was like, nah, let's give this a shot. Let's go to Mumbai. Like, fuck it, you know. So yeah, I walked into the unknown, and I think from the first day we clicked, and now I'm here. Now, after a few visits at 2 months at a time, 3 months at a time. Earlier this year, I visited for 2 months. Then I went back to Australia, because I moved to Australia a couple of years ago after I got married. And so now I'm back in Mumbai. I've been here for another 2 months. I'm going to be here for another couple more weeks and then go back to Australia. But then I'm going to pack my bags and come here and just sort of do a bit more long-term stuff with my wife. So we're just going to, the music industry is pumping here. I feel like the energy is really, really crazy here in Mumbai. And I'm getting a lot of love already. Also thanks to Abhijit Bagani as well. So I feel like I'm in really good hands at the moment. I'm getting some good momentum. Getting to know a bit more, like some good labels as well, getting some label work done. And the industry is a bit different here, I have to say, than the Western world, but I'm adapting, and I'm like, it's good that I've got a mentor to guide me as well. So it's all looking positive, and yeah, I just feel like when you got to dive into something, you got to dive in like fully, you know. So that's what I'm doing. But not to say that it's not without support. So like my wife's supporting me, my family's supporting me, friends and so on. So it's really.
Wow, that's crazy. This is a crazy journey.
Yeah.
How many projects? Like, do you do project with Amazon Prime and Netflix and all those OTT platforms as a sound designer or a producer? Because I've seen you've done a lot of work there.
Yeah, that would have been as a sound designer and a sound mixing, like mix and time, stuff like that. So it was my IMD credits would predominantly be the sound mix stuff, so re-recording mixer, sound designer, Foley, all that. Yeah. But in music side, it's more, Spotify numbers, radio rotations, being signed, getting some good editorials, getting some good media, like, the Fader, ND Shuffle, all of these. I've got another one coming up soon, so it's all part of your profile, it's all part of your brand. Just nothing sort of gone to waste. So your reputation, everything's online. If you type in Cymbol, you'll have all the songs, and you'll find all the major publications and everything that sort of hide around your name. So, yeah. So yeah, it wasn't that. It's Amazon Prime and IMDb stuff is all sound designing.
The first time you did this project with Amazon Prime, what was the feeling you're having? Like, you're having this anxiety that, okay, I'm going to mess up something. Can I do it on this?
Actually, I didn't end up working on Rings. I didn't end up working on Rings. Oh, actually, I didn't work. Yeah, but I did work on another movie. As I think, it's called A War Story, and that went to Amazon Prime. I had no idea it was going to go on Amazon Prime.
Is it still there?
I think so. Yeah. It's called A War Story, and it's about Bin Laden.
I'm gonna watch after the podcast. then I'm emailing you, man.
Yeah. At that time, I don't think I had the experience to hold down a whole movie to the whole sound mixing of. But I did it, and I did it well because the clients were really happy with it. I think I put all my efforts into it, sound design. There were like really cool things, as much as I hate to say it, but like, sound designing, like, what do you call it? New York City, you're sound designing, the Twin Towers falling apart, all of that, all the little details, just kind of went into it, and it's kind of rewarding the sound that you can make that makes it sound perceived as real, So that was always the aim, is to make it sound super real so you don't really notice it. Which was the other backlash, because it's sort of like we can only appreciate it within the circle, within the interior team. Otherwise, like, nobody notices the outside.
Only musicians, real musicians, will notice all these little things.
Exactly. Yeah. Or real.
Okay. Who did the sound designing? And just sit for the last of the movie just to see the credits. Who's the sound designer? Even I do this.
One of them. Yeah.
Yeah, who is the part of the team? Who is this guy? And then write down the names and search them on social media and then email them. Like, crazy stuff, Because why not? Oh, there's no harm in being shameless. See how shameless I am. Anyway. Also, your album Distractions is out.
Yeah.
It got featured on the New York Billboard, Times Square. Congratulations for that. Not many artists get to that. So how did that album happen? What made you to write that?
Distractions was basically maybe about last 5-ish years of my career. So just before COVID, I got the grant to sort of make an album, make a long form thing, and I felt like it was time for me to have something long form out, because I was always dropping singles. And I had never done a solo EP or a solo album. I did a joint EP. So I kind of dived in and went straight for an album, because I felt like I've been in the game for 10 years and I want to put out, lots of albums, not just one. And when is a perfect time? You don't know. So it's always like you get heard people saying that you got to keep dropping singles until you become really hot. People want that album. Yeah, sure, but I feel like it's also like do what you want to do. If you want to put if you want to put an EP out, put an EP out. If you want to put an album out, put an album out. Have like for me, it was a learning process, and I might do the next album better than I did the first because now I know what to do a bit more. Um, so yeah, I mean, I had basically my songs over the last 3 or 4 years. And I had dropped already 4 songs from the album, and then 5 new songs that were unreleased when the album dropped. And this was basically, and the other reason why I wanted to drop the album was because I felt like that sound was essentially the last 10 years of my life. Because how I sort of got known was because of my electronic dance, EDM sort of sound, and I kind of wanted to get away from that a little bit and focus on like new culture, Hindi, Punjabi, Western hip hop, that type of thing. Because I love it, and even like right now, I'm really into like UK guys like Skrillex and Hamdi and stuff like that. So like my love for music has like literally revived because of these people and people around me here in Mumbai, the energy. And so part of me was like, okay, I got to let go of those tracks and I got to put it out. But I'm still gonna, give it my all and finish those tracks. And so that the last track that I worked on was the title of the album, Distractions, and it was basically the first collaboration I had in India. And this is with Chitra Lekha Sen, and she came through Avi's doors, and Avi literally introduced both of us. And we got down in the studio and we started cooking. So then I went back to Melbourne and then finished the beat off, made it different, kind of was feeling hip hop, and then sent it to an American rapper that I was sort of looking at his profile through Instagram and sort of DM'd him and started sending him beats, and I sent him this one and he really liked it and he put his vocals on it. And that sort of that sort of paved its way into the album because I felt like this song really talks about how like you got to focus on the new stuff and close the chapter. Sort of nothing's going to get in my way. I'm just fully focused on this. And I kind of want to yeah, I am Shiv. I've got this. So it's got this really fierce sort of vibe, but it's still chill. And I think it's got a really nice message to sort of tie the album and sort of go. That's why I sort of placed it last in the album because it sounds totally different to the rest of the album. It kind of depicts it like it kind of says, look, this is the new Shiv. This is the Shiv or the symbol you're gonna get from now on, type of thing. Dabbling with different cultures, making its mark here in the Indian music industry. Sort of looking at it. Like for me, it was more about having my music heard on a bigger scale than just New Zealand and Australia because I just felt like it was sort of I was hitting a wall. And I'm like, look, I want to go out and explore and do something different. And so that kind of, all these opportunities sort of, I feel like everything happens for a reason. So, yeah, me coming here last year, putting this song out, now meeting labels, things are just, things are happening and I'm really loving honestly, apart from all of that, it's just the music that I'm creating here I'm having so much fun. I haven't had this type of spark in a while, so I feel like, it's just an ongoing thing that's going to happen here in India. Because for me, like I love the percussion and South Indian drum. There's so much, so much here. Yeah. So interesting, and I love it. Like I love cutting, sampling, doing little things, adding fillers, merging those drums with Western drums, and I don't know, there's something in me that just wants to put that big sound into out into the world and kind of fuse different parts of the world and put it out. So so that's why. And I mean, this album is basically a goodbye to the old me. But the last track, obviously, is Distractions, and it's just like, this is it, say hello. I'm not going to say bye to that sort of sound. It just means I'm just going to, I'm evolving. So, yeah.
Wow, that took a lot of work. I mean, musicians know what went behind creating an album like that. The listeners are just there to listen until they admire the other side of the work. The last question, I want to finish it short. That is, from your journey so far as a producer, as a DJ, and you've worked with so many artists and production houses and all that. If you share one advice that has worked for you all the time, to all of us.
One advice that has worked. I haven't thought about that, but one advice.
See, if the answer is zero, it's fine.
Honestly, it's consistency. So, and I've learned from that. Issue is, and a lot of producers, we kind of overthink a lot. But the most important thing is just let it go. It's not the only song that you're going to make. It's not the only great song you're going to make. Sort of just get it done, get it mixed and mastered, put it out, move on to the next. And have a consistency plan. So like have a goal and have a plan that you're going to release X amount of tracks in a year. Or maybe just a song a month, kind of aim for that. Whatever it is. But I think that the main thing to realize here is like you can get stuck on having so many beats and songs in your computer that it's just going to be sitting there for years and you don't know what to do with it. In that time, the song probably will get old, it's probably dated, or they might find some gems that you get inspired from and take that song and turn it into something new. But while that's all happening, you still want to be consistently releasing. I think this is why I like artists like Diljit Dosanjh. I don't think they're worried about this is going to be a hit or flop. It's more about putting their best shit out and consistently putting it out. And even if it works or doesn't, they're still moving on to the next. And I think that's probably the formula that they're going with. But I think to learn from that, you just got to keep putting it out. And this is what I get taught from my mentor as well. Just move on to the next. It's great. Get it mixed and mastered. Move on to the next and keep evolving, man. Like that's what music is all about. And I think that's what a lot of artists, all these artists that you look up to, they've got music out. If you're only releasing 2 songs a year, what are you going to do? So consistently putting out music is key. Have a plan to keep rolling stuff out. And if you don't have a backing of labels and all of that, what do you turn to? Unfortunately, you have to turn into like things like social media. It's free advertising. Kind of just get your game up on that. Get your game up on how to release music independently, pitching, all of that. It's all there. You just got to put in the work, the research, and it'll hit one day. It's just something that I've been independently releasing music so far since COVID. But you learn a lot. But you've got to put in the work, man. If you don't, then if it was easier, then anyone else would be doing it.
After you reach a certain level and you've worked, then you should focus on consistency. And even at the start, like the complaint musicians have mostly what I've seen is everybody falls into the trap, like laziness and who will go and then program drums and then lead the guitar and then layer them and then keyboards and then mixing, and who will EQ, man?
Yeah. honestly, even my older sister, she wants to put music out, but she's like, who's going to record me, or So dad's like, who's gonna record? And then I was just like, dude, just get yourself, a sound card and a mic. All you need is a software like Logic or Pro Tools or Cubase, and you just need to know the basics.
Or maybe just Reaper would work.
Totally, or Fruit Loops, whatever it is. I taught her, and it took me like half a day to teach her basically how to put an instrumental into a track, and then vocal record, and doing stacks. So like, she picked it up easy, and then all she has to do now is just send a session to maybe me or whoever it is, and give it a bit of a mix and or use that vocal for a song, whatever it is. So even if you're just a vocalist, I reckon you got to put in the time to learn how to at least record your vocals. So then you can send it, because the game is all online now. So you can send it back and forth to people all across the world. You've got these vocals. I found this producer. Maybe you can do something with these vocals. So it's all accessible, and it's not just. I feel like today you kind of like, especially me, if I just wanted to be a DJ, learn how to produce too.
Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah. But yeah, consistency. Yeah.
Or if you want natural reverb on your vocals, go to the toilet and sing.
Yeah.
That would work.
The old Valhalla.
I learned this from Charlie Puth.
Does he go into the bathroom?
Yeah, he recorded a song. He wanted some reverb, and he was not getting the kind of ambience he wanted from all the reverb plugins. So he went to the toilet and sang it, and then released it as well officially. I'm like, holy crap! And it sounded good. And Charlie is such a talented musician.
Yeah, and that's exactly one of the things. Like, dude, if you've got the charm in the recording, so even one of those tracks in my album called "About a Girl," Cameron's singing it. We were sort of jamming in the studio. The song was sounding really good on him, and we were just stuck on some lyrics in a second verse. So I sent it to one of my friends, who ended up being on the track, because he sent me demo vocals with lyrics, and it was so good that I was just like, this gives it a whole different dimension to the song. It's like you've got someone with a lighter voice and then someone with a deeper voice, and it's like, it feels like a nice duet.
Correct.
And
fills out the space.
Yeah, and I ended up using his demo vocals in the actual main track. Sometimes it's just a spark of someone that gives you the recording, and it's often the first recording. So yeah, and it's not normal practice to have it on like maybe I don't know how good the mic was, but it was a home setup. Usually in that case, I'd call the vocalist to have a proper session on proper like a Neumann something like that. So, but at that time, I was just like, even a mix engineer that I was working with, Lance Powell, is just like, dude, if it's sounding good and if you're liking the vocals, we can make it work with a bit of EQing and everything like that. Unless it's an absolute atrocious mic, then you can't fix it. You can't fix it.
Simple.
Yeah. But yeah, man.
Well, such a good point to end on. I won't waste any more of your time. Such a lovely time I personally had. Thank you so much. And people who are thinking we are friends, we're just meeting for the first time. But when I come to Mumbai, I'm coming to your house for lunch.
Yes,
that's a deal.
You come to the studio.
You have a home studio. You've built a studio outside.
I have a home studio at the moment. Currently Airbnb, but when I come back, I'll probably have a place for myself.
Okay.
But I work in the studio as well. Either way, so good. Make someone work.
So we'll have lunch in the studio. What's it?
Yeah, done.
that's not a very good place to have lunch. But anyway, for the people I'm saying, this is Shiv Symbol. I'll leave all the links to his works in the description. Please do check him out, support him, listen to his music. Appreciate the works your fellow musicians are doing around. That's what he did. And I would like to thank you, sir, for joining in for this session, giving your time. It's an honor for me to talk to you. Keep shining. Keep doing as much work as you can. God bless you.
Thank you so much for having me, man. It's been a real pleasure, and I'm glad to be doing this. And I want to do more of it. You know? If I can help people in any way, I'll do it. Any advice? I mean, if I can give it, it's just an opinion at the end of the day, if you want some courage or anything like that. Maybe I can give you a couple of tips. So yeah, don't be afraid to hit my DM. Whatever it is.
Yeah, please ping Shivnesh up. Why not? Disturb him. And later, if they disturb, don't come and tell me Shopona they're pinging me.
yeah. That was the last time I'm jumping on Musicstaan.
Oh my god.
Kidding.
That's nice. So thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you very soon. And I'm coming to lunch when I'm coming in Mumbai.
Sounds good, brother. Love it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye bye. Take care.
Well, with that, we end this podcast session. Thank you so much for all who are still sticking out till the end. I hope you got to learn something. Once again, please don't get tired of your social media addiction. Instead, give us a like, share this video with someone you think it might help. And once again, thank you very much for watching. Cheers.